Event date. This is okay. You've put in your bid. Your bid is approved. We've been working for the past 6 months, maybe. Now this is it. We're at the event. This is day of. First day. Now what? So, liability. Lisa, take us away. Faywellen.
So, we actually kind of already covered it. The location of your insurance information and the emergency plans.
Sorry.
I'm not going to cover it again. We already did kind of go over it. So just a quick throwback to what we went. Make sure that they're accessible. Everybody who comes on your site knows the emergency plans. In my opinion, best person to have it is Troll and the Autocrat. Yeah, that's basically. Also, scroll back if you want to hear about all the emergency plans. We did cover it, which is great. And it's a liability thing. Location of inclement weather equipment. Also, Troll should know where all of your stuff is located. Your Metacrat should know where all of their medical, like they shouldn't show up and be like, hey, where's the first aid kit? And you're like, oh, I thought you were bringing them. You know what I mean? Like, make sure all that stuff is covered. Everything that requires you to get that liability insurance, you need to make sure it's there on that day. So you need to make sure your evacuation plans are in place. Your first aid equipment's there. You need to make sure that you have water. Please make sure that there's water. Oh my God, water. And check your weather
along,
forecast.
right? Hydrate with us. Keep hydrated.
I am a horrible person. I'm drinking coffee. It's hot, but man, you make coffee with water. I maintain, and just saying, yeah.
Metacrat, come on.
Make sure that if Faywellen is on your team as a crat, you provide her with coffee. It's a liability if you don't. Just saying.
Werewolves, pirates, and coffee. Super important.
Yeah. Liability. Just check in with all your crats on the day of. Make sure everybody's good. Nobody's come down with like the flu. Your feastocrat doesn't suddenly have the flu and you no longer have a feast. Or your warocrat has broken his leg carrying all this stuff to a field. You know what I mean? Everybody has their way there, etc. Liability. That is, yeah. Any additions that I missed there that we didn't cover before?
All I would say is a good practice to do is when you are there and everyone's gathered, right? Have sort of a briefing meeting with your eventees, right? Go over the liability issues, right? Go over the rules. If there's curfews and things like that, right? Have that posted. Have there be a sign at the fire pit. Have there be a sign at the camping area, right? That is not something that a lot of folks know about, and some sites have those things and some sites don't. Some sites you can go to 6 a.m., you know, singing as loud as you like at the rowdy fire, right? And you're allowed to do that. Some sites, it's like 11 o'clock, you should be quiet, right? We could lose our site, right? We could get kicked out. We could be not allowed to go there anymore. That is crucial. So it's going to be very, very important that that's communicated. And that there is somewhere that information can be found and that it's being said, right? You want to communicate that. So let's say you, right, and not even just at like the beginning too, right? You can be doing that periodically, right? You could be having announcements before battle games, before ANS activities, before court, you know, during court, before, you know, things get going at a bardic fire, right? Talk with like, you know, the person leading the bardic and be like, hey, can you either
hire yourself some heralds.
Yeah, heralds are great. Use your heralds.
Yeah, offer them a treat. I don't know, here's your personal belt saver / headband. You are now a herald. Please don't actually yell that it's curfew, but you know, go and quietly tell people that it is now curfew. I was going to say it.
But you can loudly say it before it's curfew, right?
You can, yes, loudly before. Like, I was going to say, at Ravensnold, there's actually a quiet camp, which we didn't know last year and took it over by accident. But they were very, very nice about it and moved the quiet camp, believe it or not. All the people who were in quiet camp moved for us.
Oh wow.
Thank you, Ravenstone. Oh my God, I love you. So anyway,
Yeah.
but we will be better the next time we use it. Yes, there's usually a quiet part, and like, don't set up next to a lovely old couple who are obviously going to quietly enjoy their camping and then drink until 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Mentioning the knoll, another thing, if your site has specific individuals qualified to do things, like they want their people to take care of the fires or something like that, make sure you're aware of that with them. Otherwise, they might throw you off site for not following their rules.
Yep. Communicate.
Yeah, that goes with. I was going to say, specifically with the knoll. As a side note, they were amazing for us, and I hope we get to go back. They are part of the war meeting at the beginning with your crats. Make sure that the staff of your site, if they have their own staff, know who your staff are, know who your important heads are, etc. Who are they going to be communicating with, and if they have an issue with somebody on site, who do they need to go to, right? So, like, yeah, that if that happens.
Absolutely.
Also, keep your eye on the horizon. When you're watching things happen, think about what the next event's going to be. Think about what you need, what you're going to have, and watch things like the weather forecast. Don't start setting up your inclement weather stuff as the rain is falling. Watch out. You need to be ready as things happen, and if you see trouble brewing, it's best that you're prepared for it when it starts. But if you wait till it rears its head, you're too late.
That was an amazing thing that that your team, Lisa, did. They were on top of the weather, and they let us know well in advance that rain was coming. They gave us updates when things would be escalating, right? Where it was just, it's going to rain, to there's a tornado watch, there's hail the size of toonies coming, right? The wind is going to be nuts, right? And as the updates were coming, that was being communicated, right? And it would be this thing to where it'd be like, hey, here's the thing, pass it on, right? I started just going around to big groups and just, like, yelling the information as we went, right?
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't
and
part
of
the event, right? But I was still there communicating that information. Tag team it, right? Have people assist you with that, right?
Yeah.
Communication.
Especially when you have a large area like that, specifically. We had one walkie-talkie that was connected to the security crat and the metacrats or whatever. Yep. So actually I was the person who had the radio. It was either me or Ryan as the Autocrat. Usually it was me because of medical. And so as soon as they started talking, everything that was happening up in the campsite that wasn't us, I was hearing. Yeah. So I was hearing it escalate, and they were saying, okay, I think it's time to thing. Okay, you guys, and I heard, okay, somebody needs to go tell the LARPers. So by that point, we had already started telling people, okay, do you have a ride? We need to evacuate. Who does not have a car? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Start filling cars, leave your stuff, et cetera. You know, that kind of thing. So yeah, it was like, they were an amazing site to work with, and I can't wait to work with them again. So
yeah, the communication was so good.
Happy.
It was just so good, right?
Yeah.
We were informed. We were informed ahead of time. There was a plan set up. We all moved. Right? We all talked with each other. We all knew what we were doing. The plan was clear, and we executed it, right? As a group. And that could not have happened if we didn't talk to each other, right? It could not have happened if the crats were not open and communicating and facilitating that communication. So they did an absolutely stellar job. So, right, look to that. I think that was a pivotal shift in things for us, for, you know, those that were at that event, where it really opened up the conversation of having evacuation plans be that systematically just prepped. Like, it was so well done. I was so impressed. And it was scary. Like, it was a very scary moment. Like, it was, right, yeah, it was just very clear, and no, the site staff was also just fantastic. So communication is key.
Yep.
Is there anything more for liability before we move to the next thing?
Trying to think.
Yeah, I think
I'll
checking whether
probably remember something later.
Yep, we can add it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so event A, right? You've talked about your liability. You've covered all of that. Your communication is on point. Part of that is leadership. Being a good leader. I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks for that. So, communication is key. Repeat stuff. This doesn't happen without communication. Repeat stuff. There's the song. We're gonna repeat stuff.
Oh, Burnham. Woo!
Yep. So one thing also, right? Lead by example. If you are late for everything, if you are smashed, if you are not taking things seriously, or if you're breaking the rules, right? If you're not having the rules apply to you, and not following being hypocritical, right? If you're telling, oh, this is quiet hours, you need to be quiet. Woo, we're gonna party, right? Like, do what you are advising others to do, right? Do not be hypocritical in anything that you are stating. So lead by example.
I have a lead by example. Stay calm. Don't freak out. Stuff is going to happen. If you need to freak out, you need to have a backup. Because if people see you as the autocrat freaking out and crying in a corner because, literally the meat isn't cooked or something, everybody is going to, the entire event is going to be brought down.
Yeah.
Everybody has it's totally possible for you to freak out. Totally is. Just make sure you have somebody who's able to handle stuff while you handle your own stuff. And it's totally fine to freak out, just don't do it publicly. Don't, let's say there is a tornado coming, don't run through sight. Oh my God, there's a tornado coming! We're all gonna die! You know, stay calm and use your team, right? So, yeah.
Humans are creatures of mimic. If they see you panicking, they're going to panic, right? If the autocrat of the event is yelling, "Oh my God, we're going to die," then you're gonna go, "Oh God, we're gonna die," right? Like, you're not gonna be like, "Okay, that seems fine," right? You're not gonna, right? There's gonna be moments where you're gonna get very stressed. There's gonna be moments where things are gonna go wrong and you're gonna get very overwhelmed. It's okay if you need a minute to take out. Maybe have yourself a little cry even. Whatever. Do it to where you're not being seen. Take that moment to decompress. Yes, Medic 10's a good one for that.
Yeah.
It's okay to have emotion. It's okay to have to get that out, right? Because you bundle that up, that's not going to be good either. But what you are presenting and what you are showing, right? They need to look to you. They need that calm and that strength and that just that authority, that person that they know has this on lockdown, right? They know their stuff. They're going to get us to where we need to go. They're going to do it safely. That they're going to be calm. Well, others are going to panic because others are going to panic, right? Plan for that. Plan that adrenaline is going to hit. People are going to panic, and how to deal with and communicate with those that are panicking. You want to have a clear, calm head so that they are reassured and that they are calm. They know that they're going to be taken care of, that there is a plan, that this has been thought through, and that they will have assistance if needed, right? How you communicate that is important. But again, if you are freaking out, they're going to see that, and then it's going to get into their head. It's a psychological thing. So, yes,
but that's
fantastic point.
Are not afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
If it's too much for you, if this is your first event, and you find out halfway through that this is too much for you, ask for help.
Mhm.
This is why you've done all of this planning, all of this
Delegate.
bid stuff. You know everything, right? If you are not able to handle it and it just happens to fall on you in the middle of the event that you're like, I'm done, I can't do it, spoon's gone. Find somebody, and our community, somebody will help you. It will get done. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I'm just saying, all three of us probably, if for whatever reason, I think we all pretty much have level heads, you know, unless we are all crying in a corner as well for whatever reason. At that point, maybe it's time to be like, so.
I think at the point where all three of us are crying in a corner, we're already done for, so...
Figure it's some
but
apocalyptic
think-
thing.
If you think about it, one of the ways I was taught is think about the leader that you want to have above you, that you want to see there, and be that. If you think, oh, well, which is more awe-inspiring, the person who sits there and goes, give me a minute while I think this out, think this through, and they disappear, and you don't know if they're standing there screaming out their lungs, going like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now, and then comes back with a calm, cool, collected plan. All you saw was them take a step away, step back and go, okay, so I know the feast isn't done on time, but I have a solution for this. Let's go and have another capture the flag match, nice and quick, and I'll talk to the Feastocrat and we'll sort something out. That's all you saw, and you think really highly of this person. If you see them running around behind the feast table and yelling and screaming and panicking, what do you think of them then? Which one would you like to be seen as? And that's...
Yeah, no, that's all really good information. Like, that's super solid. Yeah. Like, you... Gosh, that's a really good point. That's on a solid point, right? Because there's... Yes, you're on top of you know, the chain of command there, but yeah, having somebody that you can turn to for advice, somebody that you can talk to or vent to or whatever the situation is, yeah, have somebody that you can go, I'm over my head, like I can't figure out how, right? Oh, we have lost Lisa. We will get Lisa back.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, if you're listening, can you come assist, please?
We're having a technical issue.
Technical difficulties.
Hold on.
Oh,
why did it only go voice? Hold on. I'm trying to fix it. I'm not Baron, I promise.
I don't know. Looks like
Baron to me.
Surprise guest.
Here we go.
Hey, welcome
Wait.
back.
Awesome.
Why is it only me? No.
Okay, well, looks like we're good. Okay, cool.
I think we're good.
Yeah. So, yes, great. So, communication. God, communication is so important.
Communication is 90% of the job you're going to be doing as an autocrat.
Really is.
It's a lot of talking.
So things also to take into consideration and bringing up that point with Feast, right? Roll with the punches. Understand that there will be things that will go wrong. Really, really wrong. This is a guarantee, almost. 90% of the time, there's going to be something, even if it's small, that will not go according to plan. That's just how things happen. You need to be able to be flexible, not panic, find solutions, problem solve, and then address it. If you go to pieces over the first thing that goes wrong, the rest of that event is tanked. So stay calm, be flexible, know that things are to go wrong, find solutions, communicate, work with the heads of the teams to find solutions. Trust your team, trust your staff, right? You picked them. You wouldn't have done that if you didn't have, faith and trust in them. So give them that credit and let them, sort stuff but be there to assist. Be there to communicate, to make sure that you know when things are going wrong, and be able to facilitate whatever is needed to make sure that those things get sorted. piece of advice. Know what you're getting into. If you know that you do not handle stress well, if you know that you don't communicate well with folks, if you don't feel comfortable being in that lead position,
Sorry.
you may not want to try to be the autocrat of an event. Otherwise, you might want to have a co-crat. Otherwise, you may want to help someone else, right? Someone else be autocrat, and you just assist them, give them tips and ideas of how to run things, but not be the person day of running things, right? It goes back to that self-analysis and knowing your strengths and weaknesses. This is a crucial part of the job, and if you're not up for it, don't apply for the job. Because there's a lot riding on you.
You can also work your way
legally,
up.
Financially, right? Yes, sorry, go for it.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No.
You can also work your way up to the job. None of us jumped in both feet. Bam! We are autocrats that have this experience and this knowledge and these skill sets. I've done cratting for events. I've been the autocrat more often than not, but I didn't start there. I learned the ropes working my way up. And some of that was training people to replace me on the way up. So I learned how to work with people, how to not get angry when people screw up and, oh, you're all wrong. No, people are trying. You have to learn how to work with these people. And it might be that you are very patient, possibly too patient. Maybe you're to the point, maybe too much to the point. And you have to learn that balance, and you feel it out, and you learn it over time. Just because you don't feel up to doing autocrat yet doesn't mean you won't get there.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to start low, learn how to do it. Be the troll. Be the cytocrat. Be the warcrat. Be the medic. Be the feastocrat. And now that you've worked with all these people, now it's your turn to take the reins. And you know how you felt and how when somebody said something a certain way to you when you were doing a certain position, or how they gave you the feedback. That's how not to do it, or how to go about doing it. These are things you learn over time.
Yep.
Don't be intimidated, but realize this is a job. This is a big job, and people are putting their trust in you.
Yes.
Sorry for taking that away from you.
Absolutely. No.
I was going
Solid
to say,
advice.
Shadow and Autocrat.
Yeah, actually that was going to be the next point I was bringing up. Right, you can try out different positions, have that experience, but you can also, right, talk to the autocrat, see if you can shadow them, to where you're literally not even covering any of these other positions. Literally ask if you can just have the one job of being the shadow, right? Or even just being an assistant to the autocrat. So you're watching the process, you're seeing how it's communicated, you're seeing all of the jobs before, you're going in and doing it. Just like you would do for like a chamberlain position in an office, right? So that also if there's a last minute thing, if somebody needs a runner to go, oh gosh, this person needs to know about this or have this item, right? You can then start filling in little odd jobs here and there, things that, the autocrat would be in charge of making sure, right? And you can help facilitate those things, have those, experiences. So yeah, absolutely, you can totally do that. Another thing I want to bring up is... Oh, yep.
I was just about to say, we have junior crats that we try to work with at our events that each of my crats want staff. And that staff, you might not have to be the feastocrat, but if you are, if Faye Wellen is a feastocrat and you help her prepare the feast, that helps prepare you to be feastocrat at your own event. And you don't have to start out, you can work your way up and watch, or you can follow along. And honestly, if somebody came to me and said, I'm from Litchwood Grove, I want to learn how to do these events, you know what, I got a mid-range coming up, PM me, mention it to me. I will more than happily bring you into the meetings. I will show you the bid, how we do things, why we do things the way we do. and you can learn it. And take it or leave it. You might have a better way of doing it down there, and you might show that to me. I can learn by teaching. There's always opportunities. Come on out. I highly encourage it.
We learn from each other, right?
Sorry?
We learn from each other too, right?
I've been taking notes.
Yeah, right. Like I think right here is such a good example of that. We all have different leadership styles. We have all different organizational styles, communication styles. Everything that we do about an event is different. You know, we have a lot of similarities, sure, but we do things differently, and there might be something that you never thought of before. Just having that insight from another, autocrat that's experienced in, like, right, they might face things that you've never had to face before, and having that heads up could be super critical. So, yeah, it's not even just new individuals learning how to do it, but if you've been doing this, you've been Autocrat 10 times, there's still things that you can learn. There's still things, right? Us from just having, meetings discussing, prepping for this class, have learned so many things from each other. I know that I'm absolutely going to start incorporating some things that I've learned from these individuals. Absolutely, you never stop learning. You never stop learning. So even if you are a seasoned veteran that have been in these positions, ask questions, learn from others, because there's little things that are just going to make your life easier and have maybe just better ways of doing things than you would ever even thought of. So absolutely. And that's the thing too. Part of being a leader is having the information and having the, lack of pridefulness to seek that out, right? If you're like, nope, this is my way or the highway, this is how it's done, I'm right, I am always going to do this way because I know this is the best, you're now cutting yourself off from opportunities that you can learn from and that you can help others with, right? Get as much information as you can. Learn. Always keep learning. So just other things on leadership stuff. I call this the reins method. Being an autocrat is like riding a horse. You have reins. You are on top of the horse and you are leading it, but there's going to be points to where you need to have more of a loose hold on that reins, and sometimes you're going to have to pull the reins. It's going to be very important to know when those moments are. If you start off and you just pull the reins immediately, it's not going to be, it's going to be no bueno, because all of a sudden you're going to be an authoritative individual. You're going to show that you don't have trust in your team. You're going to be cutting them off from exploring things and trying things and being creative. They are going to not want to communicate with you because they are going to find you to be unapproachable. You have to keep morale in mind also while you're going. If you are just super critical, you are not encouraging, you're going, I need this by this date, if you don't have it, get the heck out, right? That is not somebody that you want to work with, and that's not somebody you're going to communicate with, right? They're going to be scared to death to tell you anything. And also, right, if you're dealing with things and there are troubles going as you go, if you are doom and gloom, if you are panicking, again, right, and this goes back into that, right, they're going to look to you. If they're going to go, they're not taking this seriously, or they're panicking, right, morale is out the window. Just gone. If you are just emotionally just losing it on them, they're not gonna be able to put on a good event. They're not. So it's going to be very important to know when to give them slack. Now there's going to be times to where it's like you give them an inch and they take a mile. it's going to be important that you hold the reins at that point, right? You gotta pull a bit. You are in a position of authority. You are in, right, it's one of those things to where at the end of the day, the last call comes to you at a lot of points.
The responsibility is yours.
Yeah, the responsibility is yours, right?
In the end, all of the end, if something goes wrong, it falls to you.
It's on you.
As the autocrat.
You are responsible and accountable for everything that goes on there.
Yep.
And there are times that you want to develop these people, you want to work with them. Let people make small mistakes, because that's how they become better and they work better with you in the future. And if you are too harsh, you will never get people to work with you.
Don't micromanage.
But then again, there are times to grab the reins and call someone over and say, look, I need to know what you're serving. We're a month to go time, and you don't even have a menu yet. I need to see something by the end of this week, or I have to get another Autocrat.
And that's the thing.
But you build up to that.
Yep. There's going to be
That's
cases...
one of the important things.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, that's one of the important things goes back to your communication. Communication, not backbiting. As in, if you have a crat that you're not dealing well and you can't communicate with, and you go tell your best friend or your other crats, well, screw Faywell and that, she can't fucking cook at all. Pardon again. Sorry, she can't cook at all, etc., whatever. And then, like, I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably going to get back to that person, and then you've just killed their opportunity to progress, get better, whatever, or trust you as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Don't emotionally cut them down.
That's just not cool. Yeah.
Anything you say will get back to that person.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fact of the real world, is someone's going to say something to someone who says it to someone who says it to someone, and now your Autocrat knows that you are saying things about them behind their back.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that, and 5 of their friends think that you do it to everybody.
Yeah, that's
Do it to nobody, and you're safe. Do it to one person, that's it, you're done.
Also, right, and that's going to, emotionally, right, morale again, if they're talking shit behind this person's back, then they're probably doing it to me too, right? If you're a crat, that's probably what's going to go in your head, right? If you're just hearing all these terrible things that the Autocrat is telling you about all these other positions, you're going to start thinking, oh, this is how they operate. They're doing the same thing to me. Right? You don't want to have that distrust. You're not going to want that lack of morale. This is going to cut everything. Avoid. Please avoid. Shoot, there's something I was going to say.
Could I just cut in with one thing about that?
Go for it. Well, I try to remember.
To be fair, definitely avoid saying something behind someone's back. But if it comes to the point where I have to tell my Autocrat, I'm sorry, we're now 3.5 weeks to go time, and I still don't have that menu, you gotta go. It isn't talking behind their back to go to an all thing with your field or to meet with your company or your household to say, all right, Joe's out. Joe, I couldn't get a menu. I don't know what we're going to serve. I need someone who can make a menu and have it ready in X amount of time. Here's your budget, and here's the budget that's already been spent on X, Y, Z. That's not talking behind someone's back. That's stating facts, and that's being upfront. And every person that walks away from that doesn't think that you whisper in people's ears. But until it gets to that... Yeah,
I was going to say, there's a difference in how you word stuff, right? So if you're going, and we're using Joe as the example, Joe the Autocrat, if you're saying Joe is an asshole, he's unreliable, screw this guy, I need somebody to pick up the slack because this guy screwed me over. That type of language is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you say, guys, something happened to Joe, I don't know what happened to him, unfortunately, he couldn't come through, could I have some help? You're not saying negative stuff about Joe. You're not throwing Joe under the bus. We don't know what happened. Joe could have had something in his life happen where he couldn't happen to fulfill feasts, whatever, and maybe he just isn't in the mood to communicate with you. And that's fine. Life happens. But it's how you handle the shortcomings to not tear other people down to make yourself look better and to get stuff done. You can elevate people while still letting people gently know, sorry, you didn't come through, or like if you are communicating with them, sorry, you didn't come through. Unfortunately, maybe next time we can work better towards getting everything done on time. This time, though, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like,
And that's what I remembered.
It's all in the tone.
Pay
It's
attention.
yeah, it's knowing
Sorry.
when you have to cut them loose and replace them, right? Check for red flags, right? Check for a lack of communication. Check for the missing of deadlines, right? You want to have deadlines set. If you're noticing that things are escalating, if you're noticing that they are harassing other members on the team, maybe they are demeaning their own staff, right? Talk with them first. Again, remember, communication is key. Once you have red flags, address them when you see them. Point them out. But if you see that they are not listening, and that they cannot take feedback, have that polite conversation where you explain to them that you appreciate all the work they have done up to this point, but you have legitimate concerns, and that this partnership is unfortunately not going to work out for this event. Hopefully, maybe in the future, there's another chance, but at this juncture, we are going to have another individual take this role. And then it's at that point, after you have communicated with them that they are no longer on the team, that you can then go out and say the truths. Our Joe was... This is a made-up name. Joe was unable to fulfill the duties for this term, for this event. At this point, we are opening up volunteers. Please let us know if anyone is interested in taking over Feastocrat. We have the budget and the menu, right? We might even have all the ingredients already done. If you think that you can jump in, work with the staff, work with us, and can do so in a timely manner, please let us know so that we can facilitate. Then, showing your appreciation to that individual, giving them whatever aid they need, delegate, facilitate, to make sure that they are secure, that they're not going to all of a sudden be like, no, this is too much, I can't do it, and then all of a sudden you're down to, Joe is gone, now Bob is gone, Phyllis is now in, and Phyllis goes, I have a week to do this? No, you're on your own, So there goes Joe, Bob, and Phyllis, Maybe you're down.
And now you're down to 4 days.
4 days,
Yeah. It's interesting because sometimes you have to divvy the work up too, because Joe might be great at getting the ingredients, he knows where to get the bargains, knows how to have everything done on a timetable, good to go, but he acts like Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen, and I can't think of anyone in my professional career that would work with a man like Gordon Ramsay and be called those names or treated that way.
Have you ever worked in a kitchen?
And then
that's how kitchens are, my friend.
I've never worked in a kitchen, and I've strategically avoided those. No, but in all sincerity, it might be that Joe just doesn't have the right personality to be working in close confines with people, and you might have a better candidate, and you can divide the job and say, Joe, you're great at this. Can you do this for me? And then, Phyllis will take over on event day, and it's all a handoff, and everyone's good. Because Joe might be short-tempered because he's going through a divorce right now.
Yeah.
He might be short-tempered because he might have a medical issue in the family. His mom was just diagnosed with cancer, and he has to back out of the role. Sorry, not back down, back out of the role.
Yep.
And if you aren't there to say, hey, Joe, you missed the last 2 deadlines. Can we talk? You might never find out, and you might just sit there and be like, oh, well, Joe just keeps missing deadlines. Well, no, Joe isn't missing deadlines. He had to take his mom for chemo. And between buying potatoes for you or getting mom to chemo, I think we all know who wins.
Yep.
So approach those conversations. Communicate. But approach those conversations in the best light possible with a smile on your face, because If it is the worst case scenario, don't worry, you'll figure that out really fast.
Yeah.
If
Don't
it is best
assume
case
malice.
scenario, yeah. If it's best case scenario, Joe is still your friend the week after, and your next event after Mom's chemo is taken care of, and you can still rely on him, and you didn't burn the bridge.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Right. Don't burn bridges.
Sorry,
don't go. No. This is all fantastic information. Right. Again, we're a team. We're doing this together. Right. It's like, I mean, it's a fantastic point, right? It's that walk a mile in someone else's shoes situation, right? You might have a knee-jerk reaction like, what the hell, right? Like, this is 3 deadlines in and they're doing nothing. But that might be on you for not communicating with them, letting the 3 deadlines go without ever saying anything, right? You might be getting super salty about a thing where it's just like, did you talk to them? Did you check in about the updates? Like, were you just silent? Did you figure out why that happened, right? Sometimes it's super legit reasons. And also, again, going back to psychologic reasons, there's some things that folks are not comfortable talking about, right? You don't know how bad things can get for a person, and that they're not gonna just openly discuss. They might be super guarded about what is happening in their life, and maybe they're not even, maybe they're just, they don't know that they can approach you with those conversations. They don't know that you're open to those conversations. They don't know if they have that trust level with you. Some stuff is things that, you know, are not appropriate to discuss with others. Some things are maybe not even things that are yours to talk about, right? When my mom was diagnosed with cancer, there was a very long amount of time that she did not want it being discussed with anyone. So there was things that I was dealing with that I could not then tell other people that I was dealing with because I, you know, was sworn to secrecy from my mom. And there's some things you gotta respect like that, right? Now, I can then go, there is something personal that I'm dealing with. I cannot do this. Or I need help with this. You don't have to go into the nitty-gritties. You just need to communicate that something is happening to where you're not able to facilitate or complete X or whatever. That you need help or that you need to back out. If you do need to back out, make that decision as soon as you can and communicate that with your Autocrat as soon as you can, so that there is enough time to replace you. There's lots of times where folks just, they don't want to disappoint you, and they push themselves past their limits because they don't want to disappoint you, because they care about you so much that they don't want to fail you, right? And that's only going to hurt them, that's only going to hurt you, and that's only going to hurt the event. It is better, and they'll respect you and thank you for it, if you back out when you know that you can't do it. Because if you wait till the day of or the day before, when you're just like, yeah, I've been a mess for a past month and I just couldn't bring myself to tell you, that's when it's going to be a problem. When there is no time to all of a sudden take over that position, to delegate whatever needs to be delegated, replacing you, whatever the situation is. As soon as you start seeing those red flags for yourself, for any crap position, be open. Even if it's just, I think I can still do it, but there is a chance. Have a backup plan. Just in case, have a backup person, communicate with them, have them on deck. Have them come in and start shadowing, right? Go into those conversations, even if you never use them. Even if you go through the whole thing, it is better to have those backup plans and to have things covered for the just in case. Again, communicate.
I was going to agree with you, actually. You brought it up. I've been in that position where I've been literally too afraid to tell them that I can't do the thing. And so I do it anyway. it happened at a one event, and it got left way too long, and it was because the Autocrat wasn't approaching me to ask me. I was definitely throwing up red flags. But in my brain, I was like, nope, I have to do this. They're counting on me. I have to do the thing. Thing is going to get done. I'm going to do the thing. And I'm having my partner tell me, you can't do the thing. You're literally stressing out. You're in tears like twice a week. You need to tell them no. And I'm like, nope, but I have to do the thing. They're counting on me. I'm like the sixth one that they've gone through. I have to do the thing. And like, I think I told them way too late, and it still happened, and it was great. And the person who covered me is an amazing person. And I felt like shit. Literally, I still ended up, I didn't think I was even going to be able to make the event. I ended up going to help with Feast anyway. I wasn't a Feastocrat at that point, but it took me way too long, and I still feel guilty about it. It took me way too long to tell them that I was not okay, and it's not their fault, it's my fault. But I do think that if you're the Autocrat, check in. If there's red flags, definitely check in, because they might be looking for the opportunity to say, shoot, you're right, and I am really not in a good place, and I was too afraid to tell you.
I've been on the opposite side of that coin.
Yeah.
I've been on the opposite side of that coin, and I've seen it where some of my crats I've had to sit down and I'm like, so how are you feeling? What's happening? Do you feel up to this? And I know I can go to whomever. If you don't feel up to this, you can step down, and there's no hard feelings. We will be okay without you. Open the door for them. Sometimes they won't step through, even if you open the door. Sometimes you have to kick them out, but it's for their own good. Where I work, I've done
help. Like offering them, be like, do you need help? I can get you help. Let's say you're the singular, I don't know why anybody would do this, but you're the singular Trollcrat at Bot D for all 3 days. I can get you help. I can get people to sit in and give you breaks, and I need to make sure as the Autocrat that those things happen. You know what I mean? Like, I can help you complete this position. Tell me what you need from me as the Autocrat, because that would be my job, to make sure that you can do your job, that I'm facilitating you, right?
Absolutely.
Try give them all the opportunity. Oh my God, my phone's about to die. How is that even possible? Oh no, it's the mic. My mic's about to die. We've been going for 2.5 hours.
I actually had an incident at work where one of the ladies that was working for me, I noticed that her work, the quality was down, her production was down, everything went down, and I stopped and I pulled her aside and I said, look, can we talk for 5 minutes? I found out that day her daughter had been in hospital for the last 3 days. They didn't know what was wrong with her, and she was in critical condition. But this woman felt that she had to come in. She owed me a duty. And I had to say, I understand what you feel. Go home. I got a phone call from her about 3 days later. Her daughter, they figured out what was wrong. Her daughter was getting treated. Everything was good. And she's like, thank you for throwing me out of work. And she was actually sincerely thanking me, because she wouldn't have done it herself, and she wasn't in a good headspace to be there, and it wasn't the best place. The office wasn't the best place for her. It was with her daughter, and she saw that in retrospect. And there are times you'll see things with a clear head, because the other person doesn't have a clear head, that they can't see it.
So
open the door and let it go.
You have to be careful with that. I'm going to speak from, again, experience. You have to be careful with that. Is my mic still working? Tell me if I cut off. Because it's like probably at 80%. Personal experience story. Woo! I was running CQs.
Sorry, real quick. Do you have a backup if it does die?
Yeah, my phone. It's the audio levels might be a little funky, or I can switch to my webcam. Okay. I won't be as pretty and clear, but I'll have a webcam.
Still functional.
So yeah,
still good.
Quick story.
Go for it.
I had CQs. CQs were at my house. I was very keen on running CQs. AmpGuard is sort of one of my coping mechanisms to deal with stress. Then my dad died. It's a pretty big thing, right? My dad died. So we had to push CQs back 2 weeks. I immediately had somebody come in and say, well, no, we're taking it over. We're doing it. And I'm like, well, I'd rather you didn't, because I put all this work into it and I really want to run it. And that really offended the shit out of me, where I was like, you know what? Maybe ask me before you say, no, I'm going to take this from you now. Take more stuff from you that you've literally gone through huge stressful, and I know how you should be dealing with this, so therefore I'm going to take this from you. I feel like you should give people options. You know what I mean? If they, like, you should be facilitating them as opposed to taking stuff away. That's just, that's a weird, like, I don't have a psychology background, but this is how I deal with shit. So.
Oh, no, absolutely.
It's a really muddy water.
Yeah.
Everything's situational, and no two will be the same. And like you said, it's out of experience dealing with this woman that I did it, because I knew her and I knew the situation, and I knew how driven she was. And for yourself, if I know that about you, I would definitely have the conversation, because you're never going to run into the same situation twice. You're going to learn to feel them out as you go through them.
Oh, it died?
And I think it died.
Is it on my phone?
Oh, we can still hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, the phone works.
Hey!
My headset died.
So you're a little low. Tyler, if you can hear me, if you can come in and adjust
my
levels. He's in the other room. Trying to get in contact with him.
Tyler, our lovely tech person. Thank you, Tyler.
He's listening. Alright, just sent him a text. Hopefully he's coming.
While we wait for Tyler, should we carry on?
Yeah.
I think we're going on almost 3 hours now.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah, and we've only covered one crash.
Yes. So.
We might have to do this over a couple of nights.
I think we're gonna have to do
if
that.
y'all are free next Friday at 6.
Am I?
There you.
Well, the pandemic has cut down on my party time.
If you are good to, I mean, even if one of you are not in, we can cover some of the classes that some of the crap positions you're not covering. We are absolutely going to need to split this up between classes.
Yeah.
So we are going to finish up Autocrat for tonight, and over the next week or two, even maybe, we will finish the other crap positions. So stay tuned for those. But and they are drastically shorter than this one, so no worries there. Some of them are extraordinarily short. So don't worry, these aren't all going to be 3-hour classes. Autocrat has the most work and the most things to deal with. So that is why this is longer.
As the Autocrat, you are everyone's backup, and you have to know everyone's job. You are helping to plan everyone's job. You are scheduling everybody. It is the biggest headache pre-event
100%.
day. Because I think we're only on, like, the third thing of event day already? And that's it.
I was going to say, like, refer back to the first list.
We only have post-event to go, but still, like, this has been extraordinarily long.
Refer back to Amy.
Yes.
At the beginning, and go through the list, and for our next videos, any of those crats, send us questions,
yes,
and we will cover it. This is your like cheat sheet for the next couple of videos. Send us questions if you have questions for any of these crats that we might not have thought of. Give us questions, and we will cover them. Absolutely.
Again, if you have any questions so far on everything that we have covered, anything that we haven't, right, we have post-event stuff to cover. We're going to do site condition, leftovers, and financial for like P&L and stuff, so we're still going to cover those. But if you have any questions so far, please tag me and post them in the Twitch chat or the Discord chat. We are watching both of them. Again, there's a 20-second delay for Twitch, so just be advised on that. But we will answer those if they come in, knowing that we are going to be wrapping up. So now is the time. But yeah, so I completely agree with everything that has been stated so far. Particularly with the leadership section. I have also had similar experiences where this goes to an ableist issue. Some folks have disabilities. Do not assume that they are unable to do a thing because they are disabled. If you have a concern, you can discuss with them, but don't assume and don't start taking stuff away from them. I am in a very similar situation to where when things are rough, doing work helps me, right? Doing office stuff, running events. That's my coping mechanism, is just keeping distracted, putting in the work, and going. I love to do it outside of that. It's something that I enjoy. It is something that it's chaotic and busy and stressful, but that's the distraction is really good. Right, I was in office when my mom died from previously discussed cancer, right? I think I would have lost it if I wasn't in office at the time, if I wasn't in office after then. And everyone's going, oh, she's totally gonna drop out of office now because of her mom. It's like, no, I just worked even harder. I just committed myself and pumped it out, and I was super aware of the situation and made sure that that I was in a good situation, that I wasn't overdoing it. But the work is what helped me, and that's how I deal with stuff, right? That's how I deal with pain, and that's how I deal with emotional things. But yeah, the work helps me. So taking that away is the thing that's gonna give me issues, right? So don't assume that what is good or bad or what is healthy and unhealthy for a person. If you find that you need to have that conversation, okay, but be delicate. And once you have that answer, don't press. Like, if I tell you, yeah, no, this is actually super helpful to me right now, don't go, is it really? Are you sure? I don't know. No, I think I'm still gonna pull it. Like, don't do that. Please don't do that. Have respect for your crats. Have respect for the people that you're working for or with. Go ahead, please.
There's a simple, sentence that you say at the end of that, if you still have concerns, is literally, okay, if that changes, let me know.
That's it. That's the one.
It. Right? Because they will let you know if it changes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's really the key of it, right? Because also, right, you can be totally fine in the moment, and then all of a sudden something happened and be like just too far, right? And all of a sudden, boom, right? Even for this class, right? Again, these things help me. Being busy, doing stuff, right? But I had emergency dental procedure where, like, it was 2 days before we were doing this class, and the pain and nausea became too much for me, and I was swelling, and I couldn't talk without causing more issues. So I had to move it to the state, right? Things change just like that. You don't know when there's going to be emergencies. You don't know when things are going to change, and what's going to be tipping the scale. So for sure, right? And don't be caught up in that thing either, where you're not going to advocate for yourself, and you're not going to go like, oh, well, I already said I can do it, so I can't back out now. You can always back out. You just need to keep up that communication, give them enough time to change up stuff. So definitely want to start wrapping things. So